And welcome back to the Commanders Replacement Squad series, where replacements are aplenty to start this episode. If you look opposite of me, the top right hand corner, was I pointing? Yeah, top right hand corner, you'll see we have 63 players on roster. We have to cut 10 players, and that's because massive changes have come to the DB group. We've come in and added a lot of players: AJ Parker, Monteric Brown, and Dallas Flowers, all at the cornerback spot. And as we get them all sorted, with zone being the priority, Trill Williams will be staying with the team. He's one of the few original corners who will be staying, and he'll be getting a start on the outside because, once again, has the highest zone coverage with 70 and has the best press. So he is our press corner through and through. Next, a guy we added who will be playing on the outside, AJ Parker. Now, obviously, want to point out some of these players you're going to see their overall, as I come over to it, higher than 65. Obviously, the rule for year one is we can't bring in any player who has an overall higher than a 65. So 65 and below are fine. The reason I brought them in is because their actual overall is a 65. As you see next to the overall on this screen, he has a +2 coming in from basically, we're playing against Minnesota Vikings in this episode. They're playing really well. We didn't talk trash about them to the media, so they have a +10 to some certain ratings. We have +10 to certain ratings, those being play recognition and tackling. I think the offensive guys also have some specific ratings. So once those are gone this week, he would drop down to a 65. Dallas Flowers, another guy I said brought in. He's 25 years old, but a rookie, played at Pittsburgh State. He also has 69 zone coverage. Now, neither Flowers nor Parker come with much press, so that a little concerning. But we do have some press ability with Monteric Brown, who's one zone coverage lower than Flowers. So Brown is kind of on the edge of getting a start solely just from that press coverage. However, he has one of the worst man coverage ratings, so doesn't give us that flexibility that a guy like AJ Parker does. Past those four, we have Josh Jobe, who's been playing for us in the slot, has been really good in terms of tackle ability, and has gotten, I think, a couple picks throughout the season. We couldn't move him to a safety spot, but we did bring in some new safeties. We'll talk about them next. So Josh Jobe, I do want to keep, but I think everyone else after that, unfortunately, needs to be cut. Now, over at free safety, we see a lot of guys have been brought in. Russ Yeast is one of them. Again, his overall shows higher than a 65. It is a 65 once you take away the +10 to tackling and play rec. Another guy that we brought in was Richard LeCount, maybe is how that's pronounced. I don't know. I didn't look it up. And another one, Ennis Gaines, was brought in. J.R. Reed as well. So I think Wiggins and Blount ends up getting cut. We possibly move J.R. Reed over to strong safety since he has some tackling ability as well as zone coverage. Because currently, our strong safeties, while they have okay tackling, and really okay isn't even that great, 65 or 55 really for Johnson, who's been getting the start, and then Maiden has 60, but neither one again are very good coverage, 63. And as I mentioned earlier, we also made some changes to the defensive line, mostly for backups. One of them might be getting a start. Shaka Toney has been amazing for this squad, up to a 73, getting his boost to a star dev earlier in the season. We also brought in David, and I can't tell if it's pronounced Aneni or Eneni. It's one of those two. Couldn't quite hear it very well, but we brought him in, and we also brought in Joshua Onogiogu. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly as well. Now, the reason we brought them in is because our backup, who was William Bradley King, his best pass rush ability was a 64 finesse moves. He had 61 block shedding and 54 power moves. That's not good enough for me. Onogiogu has a 73 finesse move, and Aneni has a 74 finesse move. So that should all fit pretty well. Technically, in the aspects of just looking at the ratings, they're better than Shaka Toney, but we know how good he has been. We might still get Aneni and Onogiogu on the field, maybe on the other side of the line. And as for the other side of the line, but we brought in Benning Patoe, Again, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I looked these up to try to pronounce them correctly. Still might butcher some of them, but we brought him in. He's not the fastest guy, 74 speed with 76 acceleration, but he does have 72 power moves, which is the best of any of the power or finesse moves of any of the guys over on this left-hand side. Obviously, we still need to make a cut here, and I think that's going to end up being Raymond Johnson. His rating, he has the worst rating of any of these guys with the 58 finesse moves. And now with all those changes we made to our defense, it's time to throw them into the fire and see what they could do against the likes of Justin Jefferson, TJ Hockenson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, and just an overall really good Minnesota Vikings offense. And the defense will be first as we kick this game off. Week 9 is underway against the Minnesota Vikings, and Nwangwu will take the kneel. They'll start at the 25. And I do have to ask, is it Nwangwu, like with the N at the beginning, or is it just Nwangwu? I've heard it pronounced both ways, and I'm not sure which way is the correct one. As they go with a wide open receiver, Osborne with the grab up to the 47. Now that was definitely more on the linebackers, so we didn't make any adjustments there. On 1st and 10, they go to the outside. That one's going to be intercepted. Muse with the INT, trying to get away from Cook, who will drag him down at the 25. All right, Muse, typically not one of our cover linebackers, but making a splash play here. And that'll bring out our offense that we've really seen grow into form. What looks like a solid potential group, really, with Borghi being the main guy at the running back spot. The last couple weeks, the offense has really started to put together some solid drives and be able to march down the field despite being a lower overall, as we could not get by Eric Kendricks there. He'll get the stop, maybe a loss of 1. And on 3rd and 6, Tyree Jackson checks in as we go to a shotgun look and a motion over Smart. We ran this play a couple times last week, and it worked out fairly well for us, as it's not looking too great here. Can we get away from Danielle Hunter? No, it'll end up being a sack, loss of about 5, and we'll have to kick the field goal. So try to capitalize a little bit off of the INT by Muse. Out here to kick. Matt Guinness puts this one up and right through the uprights. We'll take a 3-0 lead early on. So far, not a bad start. We'll see if we can keep it up here as we go with that 3-3-5. The motion over the D-line a little bit here. Try to help us out as one of our guys just got flipped. Having to cover 2 guys on the developing slant routes. They end up going Hockenson underneath. We'll get 6. And let's talk a little bit about this defensive line with the new group. Tony obviously still going to get the start. In the middle, we'll change a little bit depending on what formations we come out in, whether it's one of the base formations like the 46 or 52. As on that last play, Poteo, I already forgot how to pronounce his name. He's getting the start at left end in the base formation as we have a blitz down the middle. Bilal will lay a hit in on the Kirk. That'll be another stop here for our defense. Not a turnover, but we'll force the punt. And if I'm remembering correctly, it's Potoe? Again, if I'm correct, we'll start here with a read option. Try to get Jackson to the outside. We have some good blocking, really good blocking from our receiver. Going to be one-on-one with Hitman in pursuit, and we'll force him out at the 37. That's a nice 27-yard gain to start our drive. And if you weren't here for the last episode, we've really gone straight down the path of running the ball. We're going to do that about 3/4 of the time, and then we'll have a few little pop shots of some passes here and there. And we'll probably see a pretty decent rotation at that running back group. We have a fair few different guys who can run the ball. Huntley checks in here as we try to get down the middle, but that'll be a tackle by Hicks after a short gain. And on 3rd and 5, we'll come out with this tight shotgun look. One receiver either side, 2 tight ends out there. We'll try to get something open. Not much opens up, and that is going to get easily intercepted. Danielle Hunter in coverage. We'll get the INT. The pass rush there ends up forcing a really bad pass. Just an unfortunate interception. And as we come out here in the 3-3-5, we'll jump back to talking a little bit about the defensive line. Batonio Jones and I already forgot how to pronounce it again. That's going to keep happening. Potoe, again, I think it's how it's pronounced. He's going to be starting in this game on the interior, as we'll bring out Aneni on the opposite side of Shakatoni. Just try to get a little bit more speed around the edge, see if that helps out. As Hockenson, I'm pretty sure, has all 3 catches for Kirk on the day. Or actually, I think 2 of the 3, because I remember KJ got a catch earlier. I have a bunch to the right-hand side here. Go the run. Dalvin will cut back to the left-hand side, and there's the first hit by Aneni. Will knock down Cook, gain a 3. And I feel like having both of the edge guys here be on the faster side will help us out when we bring out the double A-gap look, as we could get a quick push from either side, as that is a nice catch from Thielen underneath. Trill Williams was in coverage there and was in pretty good coverage. I mean, he was right on Thielen, just hard to knock it out of his hands. Thielen has some very sure hands, especially when he can find a little bit of space, which he did. We'll force a throwaway here on first down, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 10. And already I'm feeling the coverage is a little bit better. We're not having receivers open immediately, although they are finding some space as they go with Jay Jets here to the outside. Will be a short gain. I did also look at available linebackers to see if we could improve the linebackers coverage by just bringing someone in. And there wasn't really anyone that I felt like would make a big difference, as they go all the way to the outside, and there's a knockaway. I believe that's one of our new safeties. Couldn't tell you who it is. I can't remember who. That's the right-hand side, so that would be the strong safety side. Or no, is that the free safety side? I can't remember now. Either way, they hit the field goal, and this game tied up. We also had a holding off the kick return, so we're starting back at the 14 here. Going to start with a little bit of some read option. We have some open space to the right-hand side. Try to get around Patrick Peterson, who will escort us out of bounds. And Jackson has had himself a pretty nice start on his few carries, as we'll go back to our normal starting quarterback here. Borghi, not much room to go there. Hicks with the quick tackle. That also sends us through the first quarter as we start the second quarter here with a bit of play action. And we have a receiver deep. That's going to be Williams. Great throw by Luton, and that's our biggest play we've had in quite a while, flipping the field down to the 25. But I mean, you really have to credit Luton on that throw. He has 87 throw power, so that really was probably the top end of where he could throw it, and he put it on the money as Borghi almost stayed on his feet. That last hit knocks him down, but a really good run there as well. Now, this is the Vikings defense. We know how they played this last season, but so far, team is feeling good here. We'll go with another read option, hand this one off down the middle. Borghi will get close, marked 3rd and inches. And with this being a power down situation here, Huntley checks in. Kalinick goes back to the fullback, and that's some good blocking up front. We'll clear the path for just enough for the first down. And we'll keep Luton out there in this formation. Typically, this is a Tyree Jackson formation, but his stamina isn't fantastic. So we'll keep Luton out here. We're going to go with the pass play here. Try to get Smart leaking out to the opposite side, and that one comes up a little bit short. Booth should have picked that one off. But I do really like that play close to the end zone. About inside the 15, inside the 10 is a great time to break that one out. Stay in the same formation here. We'll go with a run. Good blocking up front. And once again, Hicks is just filling the gap really well. On 3rd and 4, going back to that tight shotgun look here. Have Stoner on a corner. Kalinick underneath, wide open. A great throw from Luton, but a slight hesitation will keep us about half a yard from the end zone. Zadarius Smith with the tackle. But that was a really nice play. Just that slight hesitation cost us just a little bit. And as this ball looks like it's actually sitting on the goal line, see if we could get a good push up front, follow the fullback and into the end zone. Rushing touchdown for Huntley will put us back in front 10-3. And you know, it would be very fitting for us to be playing this well against the Vikings. We'll see if we can do it all game. We've struggled with consistent play throughout an entire game, but we've improved on that as the season's gone. I would definitely point at last week's game against the Colts. We played a much better fourth quarter than what we've seen previous. So hopefully that plus the changes made to the defense will help us stick in these games a little bit longer here. As the trips look will go underneath, Hockenson gets lit up. I believe that was Allen with the big hit, but Hawk holds on to it. Follow that up by going back under center. A 3-receiver set, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. As they're going to motion over Thielen. He'll take the jet sweep. Our defensive back's a little confused. Yeast will get over, get his first tackle. And I'll definitely say that. I mean, that's a smart choice, handing that one off to Thielen. I wouldn't imagine the real-life Vikings would. KJ, sure. J-Jets, definitely. Thielen, I don't know, is once again Osborne wide open, deep across the middle. We'll bring him down to the 35. The linebacker group definitely can still use some improvement when it comes to the cover situations. Muse trying to fill the gap, which he does pretty well. And that'll be a tackle in the middle by Batonio Jones. Batonio, or is it Benito? It might be Benito. At least I've been semi-close, if I've been wrong. Go with another jet sweep, and there they go to J-Jets. Trying to get to the outside. We can't get the tackle with the first guy, number 16. Is definitely one of our safeties. And that is J.R. Reed. And he's been around the ball, I'll say that. He hasn't made the play, but he's been around the ball. As the quick throw out to Cook, we'll get him a first down inside, not quite inside, but to the 21. As we sit inside the 2-minute warning. See if we can get a big play here. They go to Osborne, and he's been good. They're using him how I wish the Vikings used him a little bit more often. On 1st and goal, we're going to bring a little bit of the cornerback blitz from this left-hand side. Try to see if we could cover everyone in the meantime. Hockenson to the outside, breaks a tackle. Not going to break the second, but falls in towards the end zone. And we'll tie this game up. We have about a minute and a half. No, about a minute 15 to get ourselves a lead back before half. And following a nice return by Dimitri Flowers, one of our new corners. We'll start up at the 31. About a minute left on the clock. We have all 3 timeouts. Going to go with the Cade Johnson here on the receiver screen, who fights forward. We really need to find a way to get him the ball more, as one of our offensive linemen comes up injured. One of our better pass blockers. So really not a great time for him to be leaving, as we're going to need to pass the ball a little bit here. Maybe see what Williams can do to that outside. Booth read that play really well. Williams with the grab. He actually holds on to it this time. Came up a little short on a few throws last week, as we do get the update here on Johnson. Abdominal strain. For now, we'll bring out Kajust. That injury, though, didn't realize until just now, does use one of our timeouts. So we only have 2 remaining. As we go to the outside here, almost a grab there by Stoner. Nice play made there by Bynum. But I think we should go with a run here. We're close-ish to field goal range. About a minute left on the clock, a little bit less than a minute. Try to let some blocks develop, and I was hoping we could hit that gap a little bit quicker. 3rd and 6. We don't need a big play downfield, just need something simple. Cross the middle, get us the first down. There's Stoner, who drops it. Hicks knocks it free. 4th and 6, up at the 45. We're too far downfield to punt, too far upfield to kick a field goal. So let's go for it here. Gonna bring Smart in motion. He'll leak out, and he's gonna try to get down the sideline. A nice tackle there from Booth. Kind of got a little greedy. Probably should have went out of bounds. We'll call one of our timeouts, leaving 1 remaining. 2nd and 10. 24 seconds left on the clock. Trying to go with Smart, and that pass thrown too far out in front. Hitman will get the interception. Actually have a fairly decent return. That inaccurate pass I'm not all too happy with. We had a receiver wide open. Possibly could have been a touchdown throw. Or at the least, we could have got a field goal off of that drive. So just unfortunate. That quarterback spot definitely not sealed, but I think we're in the best spot it could be for at least this season. And that run will send us on into halftime. And overall, this team definitely playing better. We need to still clean up the turnovers on offense. When we're forced to pass, we know mistakes are going to happen. That's why we try to focus on the run. So if we could avoid some more throwing situations, the better. The Eagles with a big win here. And they're who we face in the next episode, 35-17 against the Texans. Moving on to the next game. Will be towards the East Coast. Chargers taking on the Falcons. Close game there, 17-14, with the Chargers 5-2 on the season, Falcons 3-5. And for the last game update, a little bit up north, checking on one of the other NFC games, NFC North games, 7-10, with the Dolphins winless on the season. Always fun to see the difference between a Madden series, a Madden year, versus the real life year that we know how that one has ended. Chiefs victorious as we have a really good return here. Dimitri Flowers, I thought we were about to have a kick return to start the second half. Still though, the best return I think I've had on Madden 23. 1st and 10 will come back out in the pistol, set up the run here, have to cut back in. Borghi will get what he can, will be 4. And I know this Vikings defense is not great against the run, so that just works well in our favor as we get down the middle here. Running through 2 defenders, Smith will drag us down, another gain of 4. On 3rd and 2, going back to that shotgun look. Gonna motion over Smart, have basically 2 lead blockers with Smart and Kalinick. Huntley checks in, he is our power back and he will do what power backs do, 3 yards. Now I was gonna go with a read option here, but they bring down the corner, so instead we'll check to that pass. Have Smart leak across to that left-hand side. It's worked pretty well, though. They cover it this time. Receiver open down the sideline. Williams with the catch. Actually, yes, they do call it in. I thought they said incomplete, but they say both feet in. Heck of a grab. Nice to have him have a bit of a resurgence today. Oh, but Minnesota's trying to ruin it. They're going to challenge. Like I said, I thought that second foot came in out of bounds, but I don't know. He might have got the toe tap. Can we get a better look? I mean, both feet are down for sure. Toe taps and drags. Heck of a play there by Williams. It's been a while since his breakout game in Dallas, so nice to see him have a bit of a return here. We'll go with back to the run. And did you guys see Kendricks on that play? If not, go back, watch him from the get-go. That is how you read a run. We'll see how well they could do with the reading as we go with the read option here, though. Gonna motion over Smart. Booth moves down a little bit. They sit, and no, I told him to hand it off. Okay, that works though. We'll just basically do a quarterback draw. Or I guess more aptly, a quarterback dive. Yeah, I think that would work. 3rd and 5. Got the slant routes going here. Try to fit that in, and Williams can't grab it. I was a little greedy there. But we will go ahead and take the field goal to at least try to regain the lead here. Be our 3rd time grabbing the lead, and that's what we do. 13-10. All right, defense, it's time to hold a lead here. Haven't been able to do that very well today. Pretty much anytime we get a score, the Vikings have matched it. Try to sit underneath the route here with JJ. They swing it out to Cook, who does not get the... They really say he caught that. I'm not going to waste a challenge on it. Definitely looked like he was out of bounds before he touched the ball, but I could be wrong. Been wrong before. Go back to that jet sweep, and there's a good tackle. Shakatoni, it's what we come to expect. Now 3rd and 8. Can we get the final play that we need here to hold a lead for at least a drive? Give our offense an opportunity to grow said lead. They'll go to the outside and a couple different options, but across the middle, KJ Osborne once again. They just keep finding that soft coverage in between passing off the receiver from the outside corners to, as we almost get a sack with McCall. We'll get that one out to Cook. We'll gain a yard. But yeah, they keep finding that soft spot in between the transition from handing off from the corner to the linebacker, and they keep getting it with KJ. But granted, I think that's what he excels at the most, is finding that gap. That's what at least most of his catches in real life come from. But opportunity we had lost, obviously, with that 3rd down conversion, as they go with another jet sweep to the outside. Jay Jet's getting wrapped up by Trill Williams. They've tried that a few times today, but no success so far as they go with a run. Cook finding some space as he cuts all the way inside back towards all of the defenders. Should have stuck to the outside. And on 3rd and 4, a heavy look here, 2 tight ends to the left-hand side. They'll go with a pass and a wide open KJ once again. Takes the hit, but down inside the 15 he goes. Still, though, coverage has been better. Previously, we've had a lot more space in between the receiver and our closest cover guy, but we're close on most of these catches. So we know we're seeing at least some improvement. Tony clean off the edge. Still looking for his first sack. At least up today. He's had many games with multiple sacks. We'll see if we could hit one as the fourth quarter is looming. Try to stick underneath Hockenson here. They go to the outside. That's going to be Cook, and he will get the first and the touchdown through 2 defenders. Vikings grab their first lead of the day. But it's no time to panic. We could still stick to what we do best on offense. We have a whole quarter plus some change. Borgie down the middle. We'll get apparently just 1. Definitely thought that was going to be about a gain of 2 or 3, but apparently just 1. Follow that up with a little bit of read option. Eventually, we're going to be able to hit one of these. Dump this one off, and how did Phillips knock that away? I thought for sure we were going to be able to find, I think it was Borgie, who just sat underneath. Thought we'd be able to toss that one over and get an easy first down, but apparently not. We're going to go with Johnson, and that he really needs to see the field a little bit more. We might need to make some changes to our receiving group. And I have a feeling Stoner might lose that slot spot, but stick to the outside when we can. Just the amount of plays that he's been able to make when he's been given the opportunity, I feel like he deserves more. Borgie trying to follow his blocks, and he'll do so really well. Gain of 7. And this is more of the look I'm looking for here for the read option. Gonna motion over Smart. We'll back up the corner. That'll work well for us. Get Jackson to the outside with a little bit of speed. He'll end up getting caught from behind by a defensive end in Sweat. I feel like the Vikings made a trade here in this universe. Either way, play definitely goes in our favor as we get across midfield down to the 39. Go with the Borgie run down the middle. Gonna break a tackle, and that'll be about a gain of 11. He's definitely been the workhorse for us today. Unfortunately, he didn't get the rushing touchdown. That went to Huntley. Go with a pass here. We'll dump this one off. We had a couple options downfield, but it would have took some other things going our way. And we'll give Borgie a little bit of a breather after the back-to-back plays. Huntley checks in. So we stick with the same formation, and Kendricks, great play. 3rd and 4. Going back to the handy formation here. We've used it quite a bit today whenever we've needed a big play. We'll see if Smart can leak to the outside once again, although it looks like they're catching on to that. Not much here to go. We're just losing traction and losing the ball. Phillips recovers, and maybe now panic. Not fully set, but pretty close. Hicks got back there, and he's the one who forced the fumble. Obviously, we know Phillips recovered. Will be a pass here, and there's Shaka Tony getting the first sack on the day. No way was he reading the run on that. It was straight to Kirk. And maybe there's a little bit of some momentum to swing our way. Really need to keep an eye on KJ because he keeps getting the big conversions. Try to sit underneath some of these. They go. Jay Jets breaks a tackle. We'll make it a much more manageable 3rd down. But we could really use the stop here. Tony, clean off the edge, but they're going to find Thielen. And we might not be able to catch Thielen. No, we can't. They'll widen their lead. We need some touchdowns quickly. Well, we said at halftime we wanted to find ways to avoid having to throw the ball. We didn't do that. We're going to need to throw the ball here, and we're going to need to do it pretty quickly as well. As they bring down Harrison Smith, but then he backs out. We have a wide open receiver breaking down the sideline, but the ball overthrown. A flag is down. And that is huge. Onzadarius Smith will take it. Move us all the way up to the 47. We'll come out here with the read option, mostly because Luton, he needs a bit of a breather after taking that big hit. We'll try to get to the outside, although Smith read that really, really well. They match for speed, be a loss of 2. But that does give us enough time to get Luton a little bit of some water, hit that Gatorade, and he's back out there. Cade, we're going to you here. We have a lead blocker, but a great job by number 25, Jackson. We'll limit the gain to only 2 yards, and that should have been a lot more. Just really terrific coverage. As that one ends up coming up a little short. Kendricks with yet another big play today. He's made a lot of big plays, and he's just running through our linemen. down to the 33. That could have been the nail in the coffin. Pretty much the only way we get back in this one is a forced fumble, scoop and score. As they go with a run to that left-hand side, wide open running room, cut back in. That'll be a first down gain, sending us through the 2-minute warning. And as we sit about a minute and a half, forgot to talk about anything on the first play. They gained 5 yards with a run from Cook. 2nd and 5, bunch to the right-hand side. We'll cut back to the left, and there's the first play we've really seen from Potoe? I'm going to keep forgetting how to pronounce that. But at least we're seeing progress here on the defense. Just weren't able to make enough big plays today. As they go with Cook down the middle, will be a short gain. They'll send out the field goal unit. To make this an even wider deficit, the kick is up, and it is through. 27-13. We'll give one last heave on offense to try to tack on some extra points. 30 seconds left on the clock. Can we find someone open across the middle? We're going to go intended for Cade Johnson. Once again intercepted. Harrison Smith, he says, guys, just end the game already. So let's do just that. Well, obviously, not the result we were looking for. Takeaways, that's just been the problem this year, right? We have been able to march down the field. We've been able to get some decent stops on defense here and there. But when it gets down to crunch time, we keep turning the ball over. And that's just one area we have to get better at. And I would love to know, are you guys seeing the progress this team is making as well? Or is it just me? As we're probably about to play the most difficult opponent in the next episode. Philadelphia Eagles, they're 6-2 on the year, atop of the standings of our division, the NFC East, kind of tied with the Cowboys. I'm assuming they beat the Cowboys earlier, which is why Eagles are up top. Both of them, 6-2. So if we go on like a 7-game winning streak and everyone loses 7 games in a row, there's a shot. So you never know. But the Eagles, 89 overall on offense, 87 overall on defense for an 88 overall team. It'll be a difficult game. We just, as I keep saying, need to find a way for our defense to allow our offense to do what we do best. And maybe if we have a couple minutes before half, we throw in some more running to limit the throwing that we're doing, because we keep throwing away games, pun intended. But the defense did look better today. The offense is growing. It's finding its way. So make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss out on when this team gets their first victory as a replacement squad. And to help you do that, if you click the little bell icon, you'll be notified of when my videos go live. This series posted twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, with the state-only challenges posted on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So make sure you guys stick tuned to both of those series, as we'll be back soon. Until then, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.